Here we go. Here we go. Don't mind me. This part of the process usually takes a second too. But I love filming it. I love filming the actual setup because then people realize how difficult it can be. I don't know if it gets much better than that though. I could care less if our faces are even on camera, quite honestly. Although I'm sure people want to see like reactions or something. Oh, you're like right in the right. If you tilt your head forward, your brim of your cap gets in there. And that's like the well, dare I say the Sith Lord or something. It's like the wisdom guy, the guy with just enough. Well, you know, he's got his little hood over some sort of like some sort of yeah. He's the wizard. This is what it is. And we don't have to worry about characters. I'm actually going to remove this. I've got quite the character on here, but it is what it is. But we got the green light. Real wizard. The real King Wizardry in the flesh. I did preamble this just a little bit. I've told my non-public that I've been wanting something like this for a while. If there was a podcast to have be done, it would be with a family member. I've tried to get Matt in on one, but he gave me the whole our conversation is meant for us, and only us. But that was a completely different discussion. This one I kind of have the go into the story a little bit. So the preambles of the story, I would absolutely just like to say thank you. Obviously, this means more to me than you will ever know. I've been waiting for something like this for a long time. And I know we've had discussions and we've had talks, and those talks are definitely for us. Being as I feel like sharing a piece of the story of my life that obviously you haven't quite heard enough about. This is something really good. I've been sharing my testimony or bits of wisdom, my dumb wizardry, to my public, lack of, for a while, but they don't see any of my videos. I don't post anything from Florida, from the Bucheye Trail. I have them and I watch them from time to time. I posted one. I posted it to Facebook, and I was in South Carolina, and I was going from North to South Carolina, and it's a little town called South of the Border. I don't know, it's like this little area, and I filmed a 2-minute video on the bridge that you cross over. Everybody leaves everybody leaves something, paint or whatever, and I put my own little thing, and I put, I would say, from Cleveland, Ohio, to this bridge, and onwards to St. Petersburg, Florida. And it said, Big Wiz. That's what I named myself at the time. And it said, changing the world one step at a time. So that's what I was feeling. So I left my mark, and that was, you can see that, it's online.
Okay.
Probably go there and see it for yourself. But yeah, I wanted to start with the Florida trip. I don't know why. It just hit me, and I do know why, actually. I don't know if I'm done with the preamble. Yeah, I can't say thank you enough. It's really, it means a lot. It's very important to me. You have no idea how important this is. Gratitude is what's important here. And yeah, very, very thankful. This is cool. I can tell you that the day I messaged you about this, the night I messaged you, and I was passing Appalachian Outfitters. That's where I went.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I got dropped off in order to purchase the bag that I would walk to Florida with. And that night I passed it and I just bursted. I was just in, I don't know, I was driving through there. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning, dark and everything, and I knew I was driving through Cuyahoga Falls area, and I just felt the presence. I felt it, and it just, I was wondering what in the world what the direction was. I've already said a snippet about this on camera,
Mm-hmm.
but it was funny because I was praying to God that morning, for direction. I was praying for a reason to do something. Like, I didn't know. I was at a standstill. I was at this point where I was like, I'm getting sober and I'm doing better, and I've got things going for me. I feel good, right? My feelings are good, but I don't really have any direction. No clarity, just none. And so I remember praying in the car, just being like, I need direction. I need some sort of guidance. And if you're not going to give it to me, God, I don't know what to do. And I was just sad. I was very sad. And then all of a sudden, randomly passed Appalachian. No idea I was close by it. But I passed Appalachian. Instantly all my Florida visions and it just came over, and I just couldn't help it. So I'm like, yeah, I don't know what to do. You're putting me in this position, and I've got my past coming back right at me, and I don't know what to do with it. So then I texted you. I'm like,
Yeah.
I feel like crap. I got direction. I feel this, and I don't feel that, and blah, 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 blah. I got this story, and I don't know what to do with it. And I'll never forget your response. I'll never forget it. It was the most jaw-dropping, but obviously probably the most... do you remember what you said?
No.
Gosh, it was so easy. It was very simple. I was wondering how to release my story to the public. It was my question. I was like, I said, Dad, what can I do about all this? I'm okay. I'm learning to forgive myself. I've already gone to you and Ma and did that whole sort of forgiveness thing. Not that it's like you did anything wrong, but it's like personal.
Yeah,
and
I remember that.
that whole idea, concept of forgiving others and forgiving the self. And I had the question, like, all right, so what do I do with the story now? Because I just don't know how to release it. I have videos, but quite honestly, I don't want to release them. I don't like what you're going to hear. Like, I don't like what I did in Florida or on my way to Florida. I'm not very, it's not as uplifting as I want it to be. It's not as pleasurable. It just isn't. It's not pretty, right? It's not a vacation. It was not at all. And that was the warm one, right? The Bucheye Trail was a real killer. It was a life lesson that I cannot forget. But it was no vacation. And I cannot come to terms with, it's hard to come to terms knowing or thinking of what you might expect it to be like versus what it actually was. And
What was my response to your text?
You simply said, well, I would love to give you some advice, but quite frankly, I don't know your story very well. And I'm like, there it is. I knew what I had to do was at least
Tell your story. Well,
I mean, I want to tell it to the public, but quite honestly, you guys / this piece of plastic, which is what I've deemed this, I don't talk to anybody on this. I've become so cut off and so isolated and so independent that I don't talk to people on here. I just talk to a piece of plastic because I don't ever have this anymore. I don't get that. I don't have relationships. Since Florida, I've created this, what I've learned is a hyper independent mentality, hyper isolated. It's this desire to fulfill a belief in my head of what I think, not just what independence looks like, but what I think you want me to be. So,
Okay.
preamble done, I suppose.
Okay.
But yeah, I kind of wanted to start with a prayer, but let's just say we did that plenty at church. I knew this was coming, or at least I hoped this was coming. This is a significant spot. For those that don't know, chose this spot for a good reason. We've shared countless fires in this very hollow, and it provides so much comfort. So that I don't know. I mean, the viewers will never understand, but it's a blessing to be here. I don't know. I don't even think it matters if that goes on camera, but this is.
Sure.
It's good to be in a place that we've shared endless memories, endless good fun memories. Lion was my one. I immediately thought about it when we came in here. I don't know if anybody else will even know that game, but Lion is tradition, and you make a good one. You make for a good lion. Man, do I've definitely been trying to figure out how to measure up to that lion-side warrior.
That's funny.
I know where I want to begin.
Let's go.
I know.
So why'd you go on your trip?
Why?
Start there.
I wasn't living with you, was I? Before Florida. I was in Middleburg. Living in an apartment with like 4 or 5 other guys in a 2-bedroom apartment. And I had it up to here with just being around people. I think it was 26. I had just turned 26. And prior to that, I was in and out of every job imaginable. I had probably had nearly 40 or 50 jobs by the time I was 25. And I know those numbers are crazy, but I'm not going to beat around the bush. I do not like 1, working for the man, 2, working the same job, and 3, working it consistently every single day, same place, same time, every single day. It's just not me. And I'm no longer afraid to say it, because it's not like I don't want to work. Right? I love work, but the style of work, I still haven't even picked up on what it is yet. I'm still searching for the style of work. And now I'm kind of coming to terms with things like missionary. I've questioned rejoining the military recently. And that's a very scary thought for what it is. By the way, 2024, because who knows when anybody watches this. Year 2024 right now, I had a discussion with Andy Zywick yesterday. He needs help moving. move this upcoming week, but I mentioned it to him as well. He's like, not that I'm taking his advice, but it's like a reminder that service back in the day is not what service is now. Like, I'm not even sure what I was serving. I'm not even sure what I was serving for when I served. You know, I know that America is, let's just say, a leading country and a powerful country, a strong country, founded upon good, solid principles, more or less. I mean, we're not perfect, but I'm happy to be born in America. I'm happy to be born a Wizenhunt, that's for sure.
So, why did you walk?
I know. I'm trying to like solidify my conservative upbringing, which I know you more or less come from. I'm proud of where I come from, and I'm happy to have been raised up the way I was raised. Better.
What does that to do with you?
Florida for me was the stepping stone out of that mentality. A few common books that came to mind were things like The Alchemist, Paulo Coelho, and I don't know if you know Mastery by Robert Greene. Phenomenal author. He's written 48 Laws of Power, he's written Mastery, multitude of books.
Nonfiction.
Yeah, definitely nonfiction. He goes a little bit beyond self-help. It's not necessarily self-help, it's more like universal truths for human development in a way. You know, something that everybody can kind of relate to. And in Mastery, he goes over the concept of breaking away from the parents, more in particular, breaking away from the father, the son breaking away from the home / the parents, more in particular the father, and the son-father relationship being a symbolic dynamic of growth and importance. My following knows, or at least I've said it in videos, I've mentioned before that you and my original mother are divorced. And I've made amends with this, and I am completely happy and proud still of my parents. But it goes without saying that it's still, there's things to learn from, things to, I mean, you understand, I don't know how to separate the idea of trauma versus acceptance or forgiveness in a way, because I can forgive all day, but it doesn't mean that what happened in the past didn't happen. So to me, when I talk about the story of Florida, it heavily involves not just what I feel that I'm like proving to you, but why I did it involves, like why would I walk to Florida? Like in one hand, it may seem that most could have seen it as me running away from all my problems and all my fears and just running away to a whole new place just to see what could happen. And that was expressed 100% in the opposite light in my videos. And I didn't do it very well because I really didn't know what I was running to, but no doubt was I running towards something. I just had no idea what it was. But I think I know now. I love this with more than passion. This setting, this style, I could sleep out here forever without any
Anything else?
right, like without any fear or
Oh, yeah.
worry, you know, I just don't care. I don't worry about the same things that maybe the common person does. And I'm dare I say, I'm proud of that. I'm proud because as little as time as we got to spend together throughout teenage years and growing up, every single weekend was a blast. Because we get to do things like this, and we would go to grandma's. We just had a blast. I would learn the best stuff. Nothing can replace it. I learned the best stuff. I had the best experiences. And I never understood why I couldn't get enough of it. Like, why would I only get to spend this amount of time with my dad? Like, what would have happened if you were always there? Could I just be out and about learning how to skin animals, how to shoot bow and arrow, how to build fires better, you know? Because I don't do this very well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm terrible at it in my own eyes. Like, I am terrible at it. But I know there's people out there, and I've been given enough support in the past where people are like, wow, man, you've got a knack for something like this. You really have something. But I mean, all I'm doing is living outside and building fires, right? Like, what kind of growth is there? And I had no idea that that's kind of where Florida began. I left for Florida to prove that I could do it. Like, I can break away from what I've been taught, and I can survive and somehow thrive with the lessons and experiences that I've gained up until that point. And that's why I did it. I just had to prove to myself that I could still go after something bigger than myself. Because quite honestly, when I work a 9 to 5, it's purely for myself. I make money for myself. I work for myself. I don't care about the business. You know, even when I work for, I don't want to say for family members. I mean, I've worked for family members,
Mm-hmm.
but it's still to pick up a paycheck.
Right.
And I understand the importance of it. But I feel way more alive when I don't worry about when my next paycheck is coming in, where it's coming from. I feel alive, and I feel pressured by life in a way that I actually want to do something, instead of just go home and feel safe. Like, safety and security is not my friend. And sadly, for the past 10 years of independence, which I've now heard is a new term, hyper-independence, hyper-isolation. I've done so well at being independent that I'm afraid to go back out there now. I'm afraid to get involved. I'm afraid to not have a job. I'm not worried that I can always go back, you know. But right now, I'm living on the fringes of dollar bills and not caring if I work or not, because I know I could just walk somewhere. I don't know if I want to, because I haven't heard a voice, I haven't heard direction, I haven't heard the calling like I did when I went to Florida. That was a calling if ever I heard one, and now I kind of get why, in a way. Florida was by no means a vacation, and I didn't do it very well.
You were going to see someone, weren't you? Is that
Yeah,
right?
and these guys definitely know, because that's a big thing, a big part of the camera.
Cold.
Yeah.
Anything.
What do you do like this?
It don't matter. Put it out there if you want.
I've been making videos. I think I've been making them since, oh gosh, I made my Big Wiz training vlog. My Big Wiz training vlogs were back when I was in school. Tri-C days. I would make Big Wiz training vlogs at home, and I was really into training. I would vlog, but I mean, that was nothing. Florida was like, because I went into the independence mode, and I purposefully did that. Like it was a mind shift. Like I wanted to break away from society. I wanted to break away from the norm, social norm. I wanted to create something. Why am I going into vlogs?
Well, I asked her who you went to see because they
Yeah.
used to have people know. So why you went to Florida? I mean,
Elliot. Remember
Right,
we talking
was
about
it-
Elliot House?
you told me about that briefly, and I think that wasn't the purpose of the trip.
Not
That was-
real. I mean, that was
That gave you some-
the direction.
Yeah.
So he lived in Florida. He lives in Florida, and he was just the destination. But
Yeah.
obviously, it's not about the destination. It's all about the journey. I didn't even see him. Didn't even get to see him. It's funny. He was just getting out of his phase. He was on YouTube heavily, and that's when I started watching him. It was honestly his videos that inspired me to do something out of the box, do something that I felt was a calling. And by the time I had gotten there, he was so overrun by the crowd that he couldn't handle it anymore. And he was just drained from social media. And it was really funny because he couldn't even see people. He had crazy people that were willing to walk halfway around the country just to go knock on his door. So he just had to take a break. So I never even got to see him. But Florida, I could probably count the number of fires, and I don't even know if I made more than a handful. I probably made one or two. Here or there. I just didn't care
Where'd you
that
sleep?
much. And remember, there's things about my journey that you disclaimer.
Well, I mean, you know.
My goal is to, oh my gosh, I want to be Rambo, right? I want to be the guys, I want to be guys like you grew up with, the dads, the warriors, that got to do stuff. You and Grandpa got to actually go out as kids and do stuff, and I did. It's not like back then. I want to be able to hunt. I want to be able to shoot a bow and arrow. I want a gun. I want to build fires without a lighter. I want to throw the lighters away. I want a bow drill. I want to be able to survive, not just survive, but thrive out there. I wasn't thriving in Florida. I wasn't thriving on that. I was surviving. I was surviving on the Bucheye Trail, and I was just figuring things out. I was not sleeping in places that were deemed, I'll just say it, legal. If there was a roof, I would find it. I would use it.
Yeah.
I didn't care to build shelters. I would try, I would do terrible. I was terrible at it. Like, you know, if I were to look back and think of my van builds, like they're not what you see nowadays online. You know, you see people nowadays and they have just people that actually build out their vans. They're gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
They're just beautiful, and the electricity and the cabinets
They have
and
the money to do that.
they have the money, sure, but it's not just about the money. If I had the money, I would not buy a van that's already built. I wouldn't buy a nice RV. I want to buy something and completely gut it out, and not just learn how to do it for myself, but even learn from you, from good people, you know? I want to learn it. I don't want to go through this life having to make a phone call whenever there's a problem. Like, that's just not me. I like the survival aspect of life. I like the difficulty. I like the struggle. The things I say in these videos, if you found the little things like, it just does not agree with people these days. I'm not normal. I'm just not, most people just don't know how to take me, and I don't know if it's wrong, or I don't know if it's not meant for this day and age. I don't know if I don't know if the man I think I'm supposed to be is what God intends for me to be, or what this world needs. You know, I struggle with these concepts or ideas of what a man's supposed to be, what a woman's role is. I talk about that in my videos all the time, but I don't really get anywhere because I don't know. I pick up on tidbits from Matt here and there, and I would love to get 2 cents by the end of this video from the real wise guy, pertaining to what not just a man's role is supposed to be. And I think that's what I'm saying is nearly sexist in a way, because I don't know if I believe in roles as far as a man or woman's role, because I love these survival games, but I don't know how to bring it into real life, because I do not plan on working the same job forever, the same consistent job. I may find something, but I love change and I love moving. I do think I'll find something that I can do consistently, but it's like a plethora of things, and I don't know if I definitely won't call it a job. I'm starting to realize that I'm most comfortable. I mean, I'm very comfortable on my own. Whether I had to learn that or not, I am so fine on my own. I do want a partner, but it's not necessarily needed. Jeez. Wow. There she is. Double knotter. Golly.
Give it a good swallow.
Golly. You're there.
Darn it. Start it the way it is.
Big ears. Big ears. I'm realizing that my role is not necessarily what I thought it was supposed to be. I don't know if I should go into Florida more or not. Dare I say, I don't know how much this is supposed to relate to Florida, like my stories.
Right.
I don't really find much amusement from it. I know it's definitely something you want to hear about, but it's certainly not something I'm proud of. in a way that I'm happy for the lessons I learned. I'm not proud of the things that I did.
Well, when you say that, you mean on your trip to Florida,
Yeah.
did you rob anybody? You know, did you say, hey, give me your stuff,
No.
then I'm proud of you? If you made it without having to rob or harm anyone for your own benefit, then what's there to be ashamed of? You might have had to dumpster dive.
Oh my gosh, almost nearly every day. That's not
I assume.
cool.
Well, no.
That's not,
But it's better than robbing somebody, which a lot of people would do before they do that.
no, I didn't do that.
I didn't think you did.
But I mean, you know what happened. I mean, you know what happened on the Buckeye Trail,
No.
you know? Well, I mean.
Oh, I mean when you did
yeah,
that. That was something I think most of us would have done in that situation. There's an empty house, I'm freezing, this is bad situation. Who's it gonna hurt if I go
most
in there?
people would not be walking around the.
This is true.
around Ohio in the middle of winter.
No, I think most people, once they got inside, would not have, have been conscious of whether the light was being seen through the windows. I've been glad to have been inside and been very, very quiet and very dark.
Yeah, like I just can't be proud of those decisions. Like, cause I want to be able, cause, as independent as I'd like to say I was I really independent? If it wasn't for people wasting so much crap, I wouldn't have anything. If my country wasn't so wasteful, I probably wouldn't have survived very long.
Well, that's true.
I can't get over those sort of things where I've had not recent visions. They're not visions. You scroll any longer than 5 seconds on social media, and you know that things that you like start showing up on your feed. You've heard that sort of scenario.
Yeah.
Things that show up on my feed come from people that, they dumpster dive, they live off the land, they do this for a living from time to time, and not only that, but some people will figure out a way to make that a lifestyle. So it's only befitting that it struck me, I don't know, a week or two ago, that I don't know what I want to do for a job, but I certainly know that I'm here to support and give, right? There's no other purpose to life than to spread love and to give and support other people, bring people to Christ, and support them in doing so. I'm a little more physical with it. Like I understand the body, and I understand how to keep the body in good shape, I suppose. The spiritual side, I'm still learning, but I'm a Christian, and with me being saved, I can spread that. That's all I need. So that's enough for me to. Never told you this, did I? Okay. All right, we'll go a little sidetrack, but I don't think I've told you this yet. Pastor Tim, though, mentioned this to you. I don't see why you haven't asked me yet, but he mentioned a few weeks ago, maybe to you, that I had a profound week and that you should.
And he said, I'm not going to tell you, I want Michael to tell you. And then when I talked to you mentioned some things, but you didn't say anything that I was expecting necessarily. So I wasn't sure. So I decided to let it ride and see what comes up.
Well, it has to be let out at least. I figured it would be let out here at least, because it just comes up. So I got baptized. don't get me wrong. I know that there can be moments during this where we can be vulnerable, and I hate showing vulnerability just as much as the next person. I don't want you to hold back on questions or saying anything at all, just because if that, God forbid, you're not comfortable, just that thing can turn off, and it has nothing to do with this. But yes, I got baptized, re-baptized. Maybe it's been like a month.
Because you were baptized in the Red Sea,
I was baptized overseas in Egypt, and I've been trying to understand why, because like for a while I knew that it's kind of necessary. Last year I considered it too, when I got a little sober, and I knew it was just like a reconnection with God. I knew it was time to kind of clear the slate, whether it be in my head or not re-signify, give me some words here. Reestablish the relationship, the connection, the commitment
No, I understand.
with
So,
God, obviously. It was at Restoration Chapel. I've been going in and out of there for a couple months. In and out.
Where's that?
They're in Middlefield, Burton.
That wasn't the Mormon faith.
No. I went there the week after that because I was afraid that if I went back, then I'd have to start sharing and talking to people, and I didn't want to, so I started being like, oh, I should just go visit. I mean, I don't need to. I've been meaning to talk with the pastor, and I haven't quite been given the time or the thing to do so. And my excuse is that, I just don't feel fully accepted at the church yet. I guess as long as I'm going, I think my goal nowadays is to connect. As long as I'm connected, I don't care where I go to church. I just don't. Like, I'm not, like, I have a suit of armor on right now, and it's called God. You know, Ephesians 3:14, whatever it is. Like, I've got a suit of armor on. It doesn't matter where I walk. I'm fine. I'm doing just fine. I just need to connect with people. So I have gone to different churches, and I'm trying to get other ideas out there. I'm just trying to soak in, because I'm not one for school, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm just not. It's hard for me to learn. Like, my form of education, I'm pretty sure is going to be going around the world, and just like every country. Why haven't I been there yet? Like I don't see how I haven't been given the push or the voice, heard the voice. I'm very voice oriented, but nowadays I don't know if I'm hearing it right, or if I know how to differentiate between the voices that I hear. I don't know if it's just my own mind. I don't know if it's the devil Lucifer chiming in with his fear, or if it's the quietest of quiet of Holy Spirits that I just don't know how to do.
Hard. There you go.
I'll give you one. So hearing the voice has been kind of difficult lately, or determining which voice is accurate in a way. But I know I'm protected these days, and
I'm glad you got baptized. I mean, that's fine. If you felt good about that, and I wish you would have hung around the church and I felt, that, they're going to demand that you do anything or require you to do anything. They were probably like, oh man, where's Michael?
I know, but that's my fear, is
Seemed like a
opening
fool.
up about my testimony because quite honestly, I cannot tell you how much I feel judged from the outside
I
world.
understand. I understand.
Yeah,
Totally.
I don't say it enough. I don't know how to put it into. I talk about that all the time in my videos. I mean, I'm a self-saboteur. I'm a self-isolator. In the same sense, like I love myself. I just don't know how to. I don't know how to put it in this world. I don't know how to add my piece to the puzzle. And I know it starts with people getting to know me, but I'll be darned if once I start talking, people either get lost or I don't say it the way people would understand it or anything. And it just comes out a big fondle. I'll lead with the worst things in the world just to test people. Like, and I think you know what I would be dumb enough to lead with. Saying, hey, this is me. Do you accept? It's like, what? It just doesn't, I don't know, like I've lost my ability to connect. I used to be so good. I don't know, hyper-isolation. So I did get baptized. Where was I going with the baptism? Where was I going with the baptism? Experience in new churches. Oh, where was I going? Tell me where I was going. I know, I'm all over. They know that for sure. But,
Well, that's, you wanted to share that with me, and that's,
I did. I was leading up to it for some reason.
and that's fine.
By golly, yeah, I knew I had to mention it. Reasserting that I have a solid connection with God. I can do anything. I could join the military. I could do missionary work. I could dumpster dive and literally take trailer after trailer after trailer and feel good about setting it on the side of the road and putting the word free on it. Going to a city and just passing out. I know it sounds bad, but with the amount of food waste that is in dumpsters, you'd be surprised at the size of a city you could feed.
Not bad.
And it hurts. It actually causes like pain to know that the best country in the world that has been created is so powerful that we could build another one and supply for a whole nother group of people, yet the same people don't want other people crossing the border. I know that's a fine line. I get it. I don't know what's going on. But Jesus did not turn away from anybody. And I'm almost distraught. I'm like sick of what we've become nowadays. And like I'm proud but sick. Like, and I don't know what to do with that. I don't know whether to be happy from where I came from and how I was raised, or to be appalled that what I know not to condemn my family, because I don't condemn anyone, but to know what we know and not be able to just always, and this is just because I'm on a high horse of God energy and I'm just ready to go. Like, why haven't we gotten off our butts and just discipled to the world? Like, if we actually thought that rapture was upon us, if we actually thought that the revelation was here, we wouldn't be falling asleep. You know, I don't know what to do as far as.
How does that connect to your story?
Because it's how I came. It's what I learned from it. Florida taught me that even I could do this. And I know I'm not like the worst of the lot, but I'm also not the smartest of the bunch, right? And if I could just do something crazy and spontaneous, random, just not, like we all want to be so scientific, and we want to make sure we know the answers, and we want to, you know, I don't want to say the Bible's wrong, but if the Bible were true, I feel like we would be non-stop. We wouldn't even we would barely have time for church because we know what's coming. And it's like, it's not about, for me, it's not about hiding in the church. And I know it's not like Christians hide in church, but if it's the only thing you do once a week to praise God, then man, and I know that's not us. I know it's not
we're
like,
talking about all that.
it's,
But just trying to circle back around to where you were going with your linking all that with your journey. So you learned a lot on your journey, and now you don't know. It sounds like you don't know what to do with
all
what
this
you've known.
experience.
Yeah.
I've gone everywhere since Florida. It started with Florida. I took the call. I separated myself. I finally separated myself from you, the Father, in an attempt to get closer to God the Father in a way that I can't justify it with words.
Right.
I couldn't justify it with words. I had no clue what I was doing.
You have more wood?
A little bit.
Flip that now. Leak. We're almost out.
Almost there. There's some big pieces in here.
Oh, yeah.
They're big.
Wow.
I know. I don't know what to do with those. We can go this guy. And then I got this little fellow.
This might split.
I would do, I would do there. But I should pause for this part just so I don't have the eyes of the world.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
There we go. Is that too thick? I almost feel like I could do it again. I just don't want to hit the, you know what I don't want to do.
That's awesome.
All right, sweet. There we go. I gotta be honest, I've been making videos, and I've labeled them. You can look up the title of the videos, Calling Out Lukewarm/Fake Christians.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm starting to, I don't want to say I'm starting to make a series, but it's been I'll be darned if I literally feel like it's a calling. I'm not good at preaching, but I certainly feel like there's a lack of discipleship to the people that really matter. Like if we're only discipling to Christians, what good are we doing? Christians are already saved if you so choose to put the label, that definition to the label. And we're supposed to be discipling to the weak, the poor, the hungry, the worst of the lot, the people that are breaking and entering and stealing. Like, we're supposed to love those people. And for as long as I know, I just don't see a lot of it happening, or at least what it seems like the Bible is asking for.
That cooks your fire, it stokes you up.
100%. Okay. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm ready to go to Vietnam, or I'm ready to go to Russia and just start discipling.
Not necessarily the only places you need.
I know. Wowzer. Whoa.
What? It's cold.
Yeah, a little bit.
Jacket.
I'm right on the, blowing right at us. My goodness.
That's why I wanted to stoke the fire up. I was
I have an idea of where this might be getting to, going to. Yeah. I don't know if we're going to film the second half of this. Are you still running? You are. Nice job. No phone call disruptions. No text messages. How good. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm not one to sit here and say I preach to the worst people, or even that I'm meant to do so. I think we're all, as Christians, meant to help out those that are truly in need in some way. It's not like we all have to disciple and preach God at every corner. But I mean, when you give a quarter to the bum on the streets, you don't have to feel like it's like you're doing a bad thing. Not that you would if you're actually doing it, but it's not like it's a bad thing by giving to those in need that don't believe in God. I think that's the purpose.
Well, that's what I'm thinking about.
I hope not. I mean, I hope then when we go into round 2, you call me out on a lot of my improper forms of thinking. But I don't know. Like, I don't know if it's accurate. I don't know if I shouldn't be. I don't want, I've said it in videos before, I don't want to condemn Christians, but I have connected better with people that don't necessarily preach God at every turn. Like, dare anybody from the gym watch this video, but the gym that I started going to has been a huge eye-opener. Like I said, I met the pastor of Restoration Chapel at the gym. She was a very good person to easily connect to. And obviously him being at the gym means he's got a following at the gym that will stand for God and be a happy Christian, and they're all unified, right? They're all kind of a group, right? They go to the same church, they go to the same gym, a lot of them work out together. And I realized this when I first went there. Now, this is for reference. I've already talked about this in my videos. I cannot say enough that I'm not condemning, and I don't want to preach specifically to the groups there. But just for reference, I mean, this is just how I feel. I've connected hoping I'm wrong on this, but there are people at the church, at the gym, that I feel more connected to that just don't even care to praise God, or they even may be Christian, but it's not like it's the main topic. I'm not sure if that means that I have this negative energy still in me that is drawn to darkness, and I'm not classifying groups of Christians as light, or I know.
No, that's not the way that works. It's simple. It's simpler than that. I think I'll call you out if you don't mind.
Yeah.
That's that you are going to connect with who you hang out with. You're going to connect with people who are like-minded. So if you find brothers in Christ, love to work out, appreciate the body, you'll connect with them closer than anybody you've ever met. You're just connecting with people that you're hanging out with, who are like-minded. And that's all it is. It doesn't mean that there's any darkness in you drawing you to them or anything like that. Matter of fact, God might be saying, these are the people you connect with. These are the people I need you to witness to and lead them to you.
I build up trauma. I build up resentment from the Christians, though, at the gym, because I feel that if we were good Christians, and I come out of this dark place, and it's an independent, hyper-isolated darkness, and and at the gym it's special because I'm not afraid to be myself at the gym. Anywhere else, it's very difficult to just be like, yeah, this is me. At the gym, no problem. And if I come out and tell you, yeah, I've got this problem, I've done this, etc. And I don't receive support from the Christian. I just develop resentment. I
agree.
don't know what
I
to
totally
do with
understand.
it. I don't know how to.
Most Christians don't know what to do with certain problems and issues. They don't know what to do with alcoholics or drug addicts who come into the church. They're lost. They don't know how to help. People with, different sexuality issues, all that stuff. The church tends to trip over itself, and I don't know what to do because I've never experienced that. So maybe I should leave that to somebody who has experience who can really help them. And they don't know what to do. When really the only thing they really need to do is accept their friends, and the rest will fall into place. It's just, it's just the way Christian people are just not trained and taught. When you talk about discipleship, yes, Christians need discipling, because if Christians were discipled properly, in other words, taught properly, then they would know these are the things you need to think about. Reaching out to people who are unchurched, building relationships with people who are like-minded with you who may not be Christians, learning how to talk to somebody who might be an alcoholic or something. All that stuff will be taught. We don't teach that very well somewhere. We're okay with you just come to church and serve your brothers and sisters, and we'll just let it go at that. And that's wrong. I agree with you. That's wrong. They're not. They don't know how.
Do we teach it? Seems like the next step. It seems like the next part of the video, but.
Well, there's lots we could talk about there, because I feel the exact same way. I feel the exact same way. We are doing a class right now called Letters to the Church, which is Francis Chan writing a book about here's what's wrong with the church, here's what's wrong with the people, here's what we're not doing right. It was so amazing to me. I said, we're doing a class. We're doing that right now. And the class that we're doing it to are like, this is the best class we're going to have. Everybody has to take this class. Don't stop this class. And I keep saying, I want to hear about it. What are you doing different? I don't want to hear about how great these conversations are, or how great you agree with what's being said.
Yeah.
What are you doing different in your life? Until you can tell me that, I'm not convinced this is making any difference to you at all. And I'm not going to let that just die. But I get your point, and you are absolutely right. And it's a shame, but I think it's fixable. I think there's a lot of
100%. And it's not like the Bible doesn't talk about it.
No, that's what is literally
It's
what the Bible
literally,
says
yeah.
to do. And I get it, but look at that right in there.
I've been given.
That's good goodness.
I've been given, and this is. I haven't even talked about this story, did I?
I don't know.
I knew it was just a stepping stone. And you can always ask questions about, Florida, the Bucheye Trail. I love it. I'm not against opening up about it, but man, like it's hard to be honest, because I know it's not the glitz and glamour that, I almost may make it sound to be. Because I did love it, but I didn't like it because it was a beach party.
What I think I miss about it is what I miss about every story of every trip. Even when I read books of people who walked from Siberia to China.
You read books about the hard people, the people that do hard stuff.
It fascinates me because I keep wanting them to tell me what it was like. Well, the first night, or this night when I slept here, I slept by here, and it was cold and it was this, and I saw the stars, but it was really cool because this. Then the next night I had to sleep over here on this rock. And they don't get into that kind of detail. They give you the high spots, otherwise the book would be huge. I get it, I know. But I want to hear the little things, because to me, if I'm walking it, the first question I think is, okay, where do I sleep? Okay, where did you sleep?
On the back of a semi with no bed. Semi truck, the ones with the flat bed, no box.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember. I was on top of, I've slept underneath and I've been on top. If it's a nice night, I've only done it a couple times. But come 4 o'clock in the morning, that engine starts and you don't have a home in a few seconds, and your stuff is out and you've got to pack everything up. And you're like, why in the world did I choose the back? Like, the ground's right there, but you know, that's the fear of it. The fear is, oh, the ground's so scary. The ground's this and that. I wouldn't want to be up if I had choice. You know, who wouldn't want to be elevated? Who wouldn't want the feeling of security, space? Even off the ground is warmer, right? The closer you are to the ground, the colder it gets. I've slept on the beach Thanksgiving Eve. I was in Mentor Headlands, Thanksgiving Eve. And I slept on the beach. I was woken up to what I thought was a deer outside of my non-existent tent, but rustling around in the brush, only to find that it was nothing. Later on, being woken up with snow. 2 o'clock in the morning. 2 o'clock in the morning, Thanksgiving Eve, Mentor Headlands. Snow, 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm waking up and walking. When the goal is walking and that's about it, this story just seems very boring to preach about, but you're right. I took a video of crossing Georgia. I mean, you know that walking the road, the railroads, is illegal. It says it. It says do not trespass. Yeah. I've filmed those with pride because I love the look of the railroad. We used to walk railroads all the time, and being on those railroads were just so I don't want to say the word just inspiring, but energy given. Like, you can just walk and walk, and they don't end, but that's what keeps you going. Yeah. I've woken up to the sound of trains. I can't even count.
You weren't sleeping on the tracks, were you?
No.
Okay.
No. Usually underneath a bridge. Do you remember when I lived in Philadelphia?
Briefly, yeah.
I went to Philadelphia for next level trainings.
Yes.
For that section of time. This was pre-England.
Yes.
And I had to stay there. I decided to stay there because it was cheaper. It was cheaper to come back home and then go back out. So I found a job in Philadelphia. I worked at, did I tell you I worked at like a pool, what they did was put pool covers on before and after the spring and fall season. And that was my job for a month. But I would live on the tracks. Their business was right behind the tracks. And I lived underneath the bridge for a straight month, every day. And I knew the schedule. I knew that train's schedule.
Well, yeah.
The back of my hand. I mean, pride, far from it. But, experience, I'm so happy I had it. Like, it was so cool. It was so, I didn't pay for a thing. I didn't have to work. I would walk into town every day to catch the Wi-Fi at Wayman's. Wayman's is just a big grocery store. And every day, it was like a 2-3 mile walk with my backpack. I would hop from the trains, from the underneath the bridge. I would actually have 3 different places. I didn't want to live at the same spot.
Right.
So I would go to like the backyard of Walmart, underneath a bridge, side of Wayman's, and just sleep for a day. It's like, I don't know, and that's definitely not pride. But those were, I can't tell you what I did at landscaping for the past 7 years. I can't tell you what I did at work. But you know what I do remember? Living at the shop out of my van for months, and I still wouldn't make the best decisions. Because I saved, I would still drink. Like those aren't my proud days either, but I was still happy to be able to say, like, I'm independent, and I'm living on my own, happily, which I was, whether I was under the influence or not. I knew that what I was doing was figuring out a way to take care of myself and be happy doing it. And if that took living out of a vehicle rather than living at home, I was in a way proud. And I hoped that made you proud in a way, but I
I
mean,
was very proud that you were determined like that. You could have lounged around the house and taken advantage of that and still done the same thing, and it wouldn't have been the same, you know?
in a way, at times, I feel like I almost did. When I was there, I can't.
I know it was hard. I totally know it was hard. It's hard for me. When I was, I had to go home and stay at home.
Yeah.
It always tough. I messed up our nice little place.
Nah.
I have one back here.
There it is. Wow. Florida Buckeye won. Man, I don't think you understand how Elliot Hulse preaches about a way to get ready for a max lift. Now, this is just an example. I don't necessarily believe in 1 rep maxes where you like max out like a deadlift
Yeah.
as heavy as you can.
Yeah.
But the idea still is same. When you're ready, when you're getting prepared to do something in life that requires you complete focus, grounded energy, and just oneness with you and God, right? When you're just in alignment. And there's a way to do that. And he speaks about taking a moment in your life, that moment, like his moment is like, he was a football player, so his was like tackling people, making a breakaway to the end zone. You take that moment and you think about it, and you get that energy from that good moment built up in your head. You think about it, you get the blood pumping literally by thinking about this moment. And then right before you do that lift, you ground yourself with a quick burst of a rage, just letting out the energy, just quickly, or just, almost like when you're fighting, you kind of key up or something, but you take that energy, you ground it, and then you do the lift. My moment was coming back from Bucheye Trail 1, and not only was I walking up the driveway chanting, if you recall, but I was coming from the Canal Road. I came from the canal. I tell you, I came from Akron, of course.
Yeah, but you told me to walk up.
I took all of Cuyahoga straight up.
Yeah.
And I remember there's a part where the bridle trail, I actually went off of the Bucheye Trail for a moment because once I knew where I was, I just wanted to get home. Like that's all I cared about. I knew I was going to get home. That was my goal. And as long as I did, I just wanted to come back and see you. Like I had to have that significant pride moment. So I went off the Buckeye and went to the bridle trail. The bridle trail we used to always go on. And there's a moment where it comes off, it stems from like the woods, and then it meets the road of the canal, where the canal river and the canal road kind of meet.
Yeah.
And the bridle trail kind of opens up into it. And I remember I walked into there and I saw the road, and it's not easy walking with the weight that you carry, but I remember a moment where my energy it bursted up so high. I started running. I started sprinting back for like a quarter or half a mile. I just couldn't stop. And that was the time where I utilized that energy of like, that and then all the way leading to home. And like right before I do something big, I think of walking up the driveway and chanting and just being what I considered, I guess, a success, you know, because that was pretty much the goal. And I knew I was about to see you. I saw the lights on, and I remember every moment there.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember because I know that you weren't expecting the weather you got. And I remember really praying at night during the snowstorm. That you would find, and then you
When
find
you
some
say
people.
the snowstorm,
Hmm?
you mean a specific one?
Well, it snowed from, like that morning you said, through Thanksgiving, the day after Thanksgiving, and into Saturday, or something like that. And you met up with that family in Burton the day after Thanksgiving.
I think I may still have that video. And I remember I made a video and I was crying. It's like, yeah, people are amazing in this world. And that's only those trails were the reminder that there are still good people in this world.
Mhm.
And everywhere, every day I met somebody who was willing not just to help out. You know, I felt weird if I ever took money or took food, but people would just want to know. They would want to hear the story. I had an old lady in Mogador pull over, and just the only thing she said was, "Tell me your story." That's all she said. She said, she looked at me and said, "Please, tell me your story." And I just stopped and I just unfolded. I was like, man, because she was the only one that day. It's like, it's the only one that stuck out. It's like, Buckeye Trail 1, I can't remember. Because every day is so different.
And then Buckeye Trail 2
I would go west.
was just the same thing. You ran into a snowstorm that.
I can't remember. I remember the worst of the worst. I remember it. Because I almost got ran over by the plow truck, who I didn't see until the swing sets. Like, it wasn't until he was 50 feet. Now that still seems far in a snowstorm,
Yeah.
because you can look 10 feet and maybe not see yourself. But that's like when you're driving. I was walking and I didn't see nothing. I'm not talking about walking by faith. I didn't even know what direction I was going in. And it's like, I'm not sure if I was on a road. I didn't know where I was. All of a sudden, you see a barrel of snow just coming right in. And you gotta move. But he stopped too.
Oh,
He stopped. He's like, "Dude, what on earth are you doing?" I'm like, "Yeah, man, I'm walking the trail, yo." And he gave me a lift to. I mean, he made me stay in the truck. He's like, "Dude, you can't be in here. Like, I could have killed you." And I'm like, "Yeah, maybe that's not so smart."
What was that?
Oh gosh, I couldn't even tell you if it was.
Yeah.
If it was Buckeye 1 or 2. I thought it was 1, but I thought the storm didn't make sense until the second one, because it was negative 30. Right? The wind chill was just horrendous. It was 50-mile-an-hour winds. Just the worst of the worst.
I know. I just like, how did you survive? I don't understand.
Baseball fields have dugouts at times.
Sometimes.
That'll have a roof, and all I cared about was the roof. No, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I work. My side job is laying salt, and I go out nowadays every winter to salt the sidewalks And as I drive a truck, I'm faced with the question of, okay, when do I want to get out of this truck and start working? And when it's snowing, I don't want to get out of the truck. And whenever I sit in that truck for too long, I sit there and think to myself, how in God's name? I cannot prove, I cannot tell you, I just don't know how it happened, because I did not have a tent. Did not have a tent. I'm blown away by the, I call it retardedness. That's the dumbest, most craziest thing I could ever have done. But somehow I did it.
Yeah.
Food at that temperature freezes in the garbage can.
Yeah.
So, it's not like it's not like the food was necessarily bad. I can't say that it was a bad thing. I almost want to spread out the coals.
Well, I probably should. I was just trying to get the wood to burn up a little bit.
I almost want to make a hole and let the things
Do it.
let's see what we got.
Throw it on.
This is what I need to do. I like spread the coals out, bring it real nice to you, nice and close to you. Oh, not that close. Too many coals here, but some close. Wow, that's hot. Get some space underneath there. Get some airflow. You have the hot coal?
Yeah.
Then, tosser?
Yes.
Why not? Golly. That hurts me, but -30 apparently doesn't. I don't know how I did it. I don't.
Well,
I was
anyway,
sleep.
many nights I did not sleep the whole night. I prayed in bed. Many nights. And it was good for me too. It really was.
I mean that's probably where we could turn off the cameras, and I can't imagine. It goes both ways. I'm sure you wouldn't want to do what I did, or you wouldn't be as dumb to do what I did, but I also don't know how you or Ma ever could have handled knowing what you know or knew. I don't think Ma necessarily knew how I went about doing it, but you did.
I would not want to be the parent, experienced parenthood, knowing that one of your kids is living like that because they're hopelessly addicted and lost and can't do anything with themselves. But you were different. Your choices to do that, I had confidence in your strength, I had confidence in your determination. The fact that you were choosing to do it, and it's not that you were homeless and destitute or anything, you just chose it, made all the difference in the world. And it wasn't like that. It was different.
Your support means more
That's true.
than you'll ever know. Not many parents understand. Not many at all. But you did. And you allowed me to go through it. And it makes for a really cool story.
It doesn't.
I already have a title for it, you know.
What's that?
from trail to jail. I thought about it almost immediately.
And back again.
And back again, and back again. You know that I went and took care of it.
Mm-hmm.
I took care of it last year.
Yeah, I remember.
And gosh, you know I went. Yeah, you know I went to the. I went to go check out Sydney.
You what?
I went to go check out Sydney. I went to go. I mean, I didn't just go to take care of it in person at the.
Well,
at
that's
the-
all I knew the trip was for. You went to pay.
I went to the. Yeah, I went to go pay, but obviously I had to check out
The house.
Lockington. I did not go to the house.
Oh.
I should have gone to the house. I definitely should have. I went to the jail and I went to go see where I was walking out of. Maybe I should have gone more around, but man, I should have gone to that house. Maybe I should have.
Yeah, then you gotta get arrested again.
I have always had the thought of completing the trail one day when I actually do have the experience to do it the way I know I should have done it. But we're a little ways away from that, so we'll see. A little bit of practice when I go. I prefer to stay out of the dumpsters and out of the homes. But it was a good trail. 550 miles of it. Six miles. Another 800 to go. And I did technically, I guess you could say I did the hard part of it, if you would consider the hard part to be the flat areas.
No,
Where
I
there's-
consider the hard parts the mountains down southeast Ohio where you gotta go like this.
I don't know, man. Those sound fun. Those
Well,
sound
yeah,
like
but
the
they're a lot
action.
more work. You walk a lot further to gain distance. Like,
Would you rather be in the woods when it snows or on flat,
that's true.
windy?
I wouldn't. First of all, I
That
wouldn't
was
do it in the
the-
wintertime. No. If I ever do it, it's gonna be
very, very.
It's gonna be probably April through June type of thing, where it's warm enough to not freeze, but not bugs and mosquitoes every night.
Yeah.
You know.
April or fall, spring or
Yeah.
fall, are really good time. I went to Florida in the fall and it wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
It wasn't really that
Well,
bad
you
at
go
all.
south, and that's good.
Florida. I did almost get robbed in Florida. I wasn't that.
Of what?
You know, good question because I didn't even have my ID at that point. So many dumb decisions, though. I don't know how to get old. Like, I don't know. I'm supposed to write about it, but it's not like it's very prideful. Like, it's dumb. Like if you were to read it, it'd be like, man,
No, not
dang,
there.
why in the world?
Not there is, here's what I learned, here's what I was searching for, here's the things that I gained from that, and that type of thing, you know. There's always purpose to it. Everybody's different. Some stories, are more amazing than others, but
A lot of bathrooms.
mm-hmm.
That would be an amazing place to sleep.
When I go to bathrooms, I go all over the northern Ohio, and I stop in parks and go to bathrooms and stuff. You know what I think? Michael could have slept.
Could have
This would be
slept
good.
in this bathroom.
I'm gonna remember this one, because this one has
This
heat.
one's nice. There were
You go in there and they have
bathrooms.
them air dryers on. Turn on
Ventilators.
the air dryer and oh yeah, heat up the place. So Michael would love this. I gotta remember this one.
Michael would love to be able to build a shelter with just a hatchet and some rope. Right? I want to cut down the trees. I know not back then. I did not know my knots like I know them now. Like, I could possibly, I know I can now, but
Lean-to doesn't even require
I know, but I mean,
in the right spot.
talk about work put into it. My mindset was so one-dimensional that I wouldn't even care to experience the journey. I would just experience it for what it was. I was so on a mission to either get to Florida or just walk or, feel like a man. And if we want to go into it,
I'm running out of wood now.
I know. But my most difficult struggle is this concept of filling the boots of what this world has deemed a manly lifestyle. Woman roles and man roles and being a father or being the leader of the family. I'm just not that. That's not what at least the common concept. I don't know how common it is in the biblical sense though. Like, I couldn't tell you how closely I feel I relate to the modern woman, to the modern version of what women used to be. Like, I love cooking. I love cleaning. I love keeping my house in the...
What makes you think those are women?
Because that's what we were raised to
Well, that's what
believe.
you're raised with, that's not true.
That's what this country has been. This is what the battle is here. The battle nowadays is a whole bunch of people putting, and this is a lot of the right too. When I say the right, I mean what people consider themselves to be religious, Christians. People preach the Bible and then say, you're a woman? All right, I'm in charge of you. That's today. That's a big portion of what today's masculine, manly thing is, and it's absolutely wrong. Prove me wrong. It's absolutely what's bringing down this country in my mind, is men thinking they're men, and in reality, just putting on the most biggest facade.
Okay. So,
I could go all day.
you can
Yeah.
stop.
Thank you for watching and thank you for following, but the rest of the information from this video is for me and me alone. I'll bring it to you later, but not right now. Father-son time. Live expressively, folks. More to follow.